Alright, this is now the third time I'm making the same joke, but I still think I'm really funny. So here we go. There's an elephant in the room, and the elephant is me that we need to talk about. And it's the idea that I'm now in the video and you have to see me, and you might be tired from seeing me all day at school and your eyes might hurt. You might be like, I can't look at this guy anymore, but too bad. I'm going to be in the videos from now on. So here we go. Today we're talking about multiplying and dividing integers. Please start off your note sheet. Put the date at the top. Now, we talked about this in class, and it's very important that when multiplying and dividing integers, if the signs are the same, the answer is positive, and if the signs are different, the answer is negative. Not when you're adding and subtracting. But when you're multiplying and dividing, if the signs are the same, the answer is positive. The signs are different, positives and negatives, that you're multiplying or dividing, the answer is negative. I already caught some people today. They were referencing making mistakes on our board work. Got to keep them straight. It's difficult. Here we go. Let's use an explanation of why it makes sense. So here we go. Why does this make sense? Why do these rules make sense? We don't want to just have something memorized. We want to be able to justify it to ourselves so we understand it. Why is a positive and a positive equal positive? Because that's the way you've always learned it. Let's look at algebra tiles, though. If you have 2 times 3, or 2 groups of 3, that's what multiplication can be thought of. If you have 2 groups of 3, what do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, and they're all positive. Positive 6. Great. Okay, I'm glad that we can all agree on that much at least. Now, looking at the second example. If you have a positive and a negative, why is your answer negative? If the signs are different, why is the answer negative? Let's think about this. If you have negative 4 and you're going to divide by 2, that means you're going to split it into 2 groups. You're going to take negative 4 and split it into 2 groups. So let's take these negative 4 and try and split them evenly into 2 groups. And our answer will tell us how many are in each group. Well, if I look at one of these groups, it has 2 negatives. So negative 2. So maybe that's why. This is a way we can explain it to ourselves. If you take negative tiles and split them into positive groups or real groups, regular groups, then you're going to have negative tiles in each one. So negative answer. This last one you might not like, and it's probably not the best example in the world, but we're going to go with it anyway, and you're just going to have to suck it up. Sorry. Negative 2 times negative 3. If you have negative 2 groups of negative 3, that doesn't make sense. So first, let's just talk about this first negative sign, and let's try and say this negative sign means the opposite. So let's just say we don't have the opposite of 2 groups of negative 3. What if we have 2 groups of negative 3? We have 1 group and 2 groups of negative 3. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 negatives. We have negative 6. But this question is asking, what if you have the opposite of 2 groups of negative 3? What if you have the opposite of this, which is negative 6? Well, if you have the opposite of negative 6, you have positive 6. And that's when you have negative 2 groups of negative. That's the best explanation I got. I hope you like it. The opposite of negative 6, or the opposite of 2 groups of negative 3, is the opposite of negative 6, which is positive 6. Just remember the rules. It's the easiest way to do it. I'm sorry. Let's try some examples and make sure we can put those rules into practice. So here we go. Negative 153 times negative 9. Alright, let's check this guy out. Oh, first I'm just going to think about what's the sign of my answer. We have negative times a negative. The signs are the same, so the answer is positive. I'll just mark that down now so I know. Now I'll do my multiplication. 153 times 9. 9 times 3 would be 27, and that's not what a 7 looks like, so let me fix that. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 5 is 45. Plus 2 is 47. And 9 times 1 is 9, plus 4 is 13. So our answer is positive 1,377. There we go. Second one, if a scuba diver can travel down 35 feet every minute of diving, what will their elevation relative to sea level be after 11 minutes? So the important thing here is we realize that they're traveling down. So we can say, for the notes that I expect you to take for this problem, travel would be negative 35 feet per minute, and 11 minutes is the time. Elevation is the question mark. Elevation. Oh man, this writing is awful. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on. Negative 35, and it's repeated. This is multiplication because we have the same thing happening over and over again. We have just repeated addition. So negative 35 times 11. There's a cool trick to multiply by 11s, or if you just split out the numbers, 5 and 3. And then you bring them together and you add them. 5 plus 3 is 8. You get the answer. Negative 35 times 11, that's a negative times a positive. That signs are different, so it would be negative 385. If you want to make sure that I'm not lying to you, then it's negative 35 times 11. You can multiply by 1, and you would get 35. Placeholder 0, multiply by 1, you would get 35, and then you'd add it, and you would find out, oh my gosh, he's right. And the reason that it's important that this is a negative answer is because they asked relative to sea level. So we're not above sea level, a positive value, we're a negative value. So their elevation would be negative 385 feet, because you need to tell me the units. Thank you so much. Here are your last questions to do on your own, the practice problems. Number 1 is negative 312 divided by negative 6. Number 2, if the 49ers lose 7 yards on each of their 4 downs, what was their total change in yardage? Express this as an integer, so I'm asking you to do something similar. Express it relative to the line of scrimmage that they started at. All right, best of luck. I will catch you all